Well, alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. So I've been seeing a lot of folks out there fussing and feuding about this here question in the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World community. And that is, who would win in a fight between the Spinosaurus from JP3 and the Indominus Rex from Jurassic World? Well, it appears to be that a whole lot of people out there really like to over-worship and overrate the living tarnation out of the sailed gator head. So I reckon what we're going to do is crack this here case once and for all. So I think you better run on in that kitchen, pop your corn, and grab your sody pop, because we're going for a ride.
Looks like sody pop. Watch it fizz.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and kiddies of all ages, over in this corner, we have the Spinosaurus from 2001's Jurassic Park 3. And over yonder in the other corner, we have none other than the Indominus Rex from 2015's Jurassic World. Alrighty, so I think this here shouldn't even really be a debate, but for the sake of this video, and based off of what I've seen a whole lot of folks say and do, we're going to have these two man-eaters duke it out anyway. So why don't we start off by taking a look at the critters, shall we? Alrighty, so Mr. Spinosaurus over here has a pretty solid sail, the outdated long legs, and some long arms with all three fingers on both hands tipped with a claw, which is pretty useful in combat against opponents such as the poor random T-Rex that was killed for absolutely no daggone reason, except that this jackwagon right here had a jealousy issue with the beloved mascot of the franchise. But anyway, it is pretty clear that the Spinosaurus they had rigged up here was designed to be thicker and stronger than the real-life fish-picking Spinosaurus. Now let's get us a gander at the genetically modified, blood-sucking Indominus Rex. As you can see, she is quite the force to be reckoned with. She has a mighty tough set of lumps and spikes that go all the way down from her neck to her back, and she's even got two big horns above her eyes, kind of like a Carnotaurus. I reckon that makes sense considering she had Carnotaurus DNA in her, as well as a whole lot of other animals and dinosaurs such as T-Rex, Velociraptor, Therizinosaurus, Giganotosaurus, Tree Frog, Pit Viper, etc, 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 etc. She had a lot of stuff going on. And a whole lot like the Spinosaurus, the Indominus Rex also has two really long muscular arms, each with a big hand with really long and sharp claws, and even a thumb to give the psychopathic critter a little more grip. And while she pretty much has the same wide and powerful jaws like the Giganotosaurus and T-Rex, she has a unique and rugged interlocking dagger jaw that makes her stand out in the crowd. Now both of these critters can be pretty destructive as well whenever they're provoked or just want to snatch some innocent lives. Before we get on to that, I just want to say I'm pretty sure the Spinosaurus wasn't directly hit right smack dab in the sail by the plane. If you slow it down and take a little closer look, you can see that it just kind of scrapes the top of the sail a little bit, and I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Cooper's blood on that windshield. So Mr. Spinosaurus does a pretty decent amount of damage in his movie. As we all know, he got all pissed off over a silly accident started by ripping the front end off the plane, rolling around like a washing machine, and poking a hole in it with his big old beak. And even though the fight with the T-Rex was less than half a minute, I still say he was having a tough time getting thrown around by the big critter until the Spinosaurus managed to get a hold of his neck at the very end. And yes, I know a whole lot of people love to freak out about it bashing through a metal fence, but y'all gotta remember that thing was all rusty and turning brown.
I'm afraid she's starting to turn.
You know, nature was pretty much taking its toll on it. Shoot, there was already a little bit of damage done to it that the humans ran out of. And on top of that, the Spinosaurus couldn't hardly bust a rusty old door down after that. I know they did throw the big lock on it, but still, it barely even dented the daggone thing. And then later on in the film, the gatorhead once again follows the humans and wrecks their boat. It knocks the cab off of it with its head and yanks the cage off of it and tries to drown the people inside of it. I might also like to add that it was seen getting thrown around half the time by the mama T-Rex in the 5th and final season of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. So while I don't necessarily think the Spinosaurus is weak and puny, I wouldn't necessarily say it's an invincible god or whatever in tarnation like its darn fan base makes it out to be. But I would say it's something you definitely don't want to cross paths with. And now I reckon it's time we take a look at the untamable and dang near invincible Indominus Rex's destruction list. And boy howdy, there is a lot to look at. So this was a genetically modified hybrid, just like the movie says. You know, it's pretty much a Frankenstein dinosaur, and little did the people know at Jurassic World, it would be the definition of pure evil, like a blood-sucking demon from the outskirts of hell. This member gem right here is pretty much a bulldozer with teeth and two legs. It squeezed right through and demolished a brand spanking new concrete and metal door while it was closing, sends a truck on its merry way, takes out a whole pack of men with guns and tasers, crushes an Ankylosaurus' skull after taking no damage from its boulder tail, kicks the gyrosphere around like a frickin' soccer ball, and shatters it by picking it up and slamming it on the ground, slaughters a herd of Apatosauruses, bashes right through brand spanking new bulletproof glass and doesn't slow down one bit, which caused the Dimorphodons and Pteranodons to fly right out of it and massacre Main Street, while the Spinosaurus, on the other hand, froze for a sec after tearing through a rusty old metal fence and barely dented the darn rusty door despite it being locked. The Indominus Rex was also dang near hit by a rocket launcher and only fell over for a split sec before getting right back up and proceeding with its 24/7 bloodbath, killed all but one of Owen's 4 raptors and almost sent an even bigger T-Rex 6 feet under to her doom. And I wouldn't be too surprised if I missed a couple things that this absolute monstrosity done in the Jurassic World movie. Nothing could cease the Indominus Rex's rampage, and it's probably one of the biggest T-Rex fans out there who hates how it went down in JP3 and was kind of annoyed by the Giganotosaurus being Rex's bully and dominion. I gotta admit, our beloved Queen of the Dinosaurs would have most definitely seen them pearly gates if Blue the Velociraptor didn't have a heart to come to her rescue. And it took the strength, courage, and fighting spirit from both of them to just slow the daggone thing down. Rexy threw the massive critter into tall metal and concrete towers, but even that didn't stop it from getting back up and thrown around and back down again. And the breathtaking fight of the century finally came to a close when the giant Mosasaurus jumped out of the water and delivered the final blow to the Indominus Rex's neck and drug her into the water with it. And not only does the Indominus Rex have a considerably higher kill count than the Spinosaurus does, but I would also say that it has a bit higher brains as well. The Spinosaurus ran away from a fire when it could have just went around it to get to its scrawny little snacks on the other side, while the indomitable queen clawed up the wall to make the caretakers think that she escaped, ripped out its tracking implant so the trackers could find it, and she most likely done that to bait them boys in for the attack, and she used her camouflage technique to hide in the trees so they wouldn't see it coming. And of course, I ain't gonna forget, that thing's part raptor. She was able to communicate with Owen's Velociraptor pack. Now, in the past, I used to think the raptors attacked the men because they didn't have no plan to get them back in their cages. But now, honestly, I think the conversation the dinos were having was, in fact, in order to maul them to death. So, with all of that being said, which one of these here science fiction movie monsters would take the trophy in a 1v1 fight? Now, like I said, this here probably shouldn't even be a debate, but after all that I just said, I would say that the indomitable, fierce, and untamable Queen of Destruction, namely Jurassic World's one and only Indominus Rex, would smack that Spinosaurus over yonder into next week about 65 to 70% of the time. Now, the Spinosaurus may or may not be able to put up a decent fight considering it's fought a lot of T-Rexes, whether it won or lost. And it did do some decent destruction with aggression. And shoot, it may or may not have the upper hand if these two critters happen to find themselves in the water. But, you know, I wouldn't think the Indominus Rex would spend a lot of its time near or in the water. You know what I'm saying? Now, the Spinosaurus also has more experience being cloned around 1999, but it ain't gonna take long for the Indominus Rex to get experience based off of the way it fights. And considering it was on a non-stop bloodbath of a rampage, and brought the highly advanced modern-day Jurassic Park to its knees in less than 24 hours. So there y'all have it, ladies and gentlemen. Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3 versus the Indominus Rex from Jurassic World. I'd say the Frankensteinosaurus Rex would come out on top about 7 times out of 10. Like always, show this video some love if you enjoyed it, and check out the rest of the channel as well. I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye now.